First heavy rainfall, the basement started to leak.
Imagine that, 5 years of living in a brand new home and nothing but water in the basement.
Well, we see a lot of areas that have been flooded, eh?
It's leaking from every single wall in many different locations.
Now, the builder, what are they telling you now?
We can't find them now.
This is a great sign that the water is not draining off the property. From excavation to putting up the protection layer, this is going to take 5 days. The leaking inside is coming through this area. This house is going to be the most watertight home.
I'm a trusting person.
We actually have a river in our basement.
You think the builder cares about him?
After the first 2 years, they stopped coming.
It's wrong. Mike Holmes.
Did they actually do this right?
No, we didn't. Outliers. You want a good job? GM shape? Okay, contractor.
God, I love my job.
We were looking for a used home in the beginning, and the real estate agent took us into this neighborhood, and I loved the houses, loved the design, all the windows. So I came back on the weekend to look on my own and found the builder's office, and then saw this model home, and that was it. Raced home, told Jay I found her house. So everything went well. The house closed okay. We did our inspection with the builder, but of course we didn't know exactly what we were looking for.
Good morning.
Morning.
How you doing, Michelle?
Good.
Jason?
Nice to see you, Mike.
Nice to
Nice to see you.
First heavy rainfall, the basement started to leak. So we called the builder, and they came in and patched it up from the inside. We didn't know any better, figured that was standard, and that it was fixed. And then the next time it rained, it started leaking again. I think they were in a total of 4 or 5
4 or 5 times, yeah.
times fixing it from the inside.
Well, we see a lot of areas that have been flooded, eh?
And he came back in, tried to fix it up with about 4 different Band-Aids at 4 different times from the inside. That's never gonna work.
This doesn't look good.
That's the big one.
Well, this is quite the puddle you've had here. Did you notice how much water? I'd say almost an inch, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even with the drain, it would just sit.
After major rainfall, it was so bad that I would put sawdust down. The next day, I'd have to shovel it because it was just saturated with water.
We're
Just to
building
stop
little
it.
dams, trying
Yeah,
to
we
keep
had-
the water from going all the way across the basement.
So the actual drain, did it back up or anything?
Yeah.
It did back up, eh?
Yeah, and not knowing that the flooding was going to be that bad, we lost a lot of our belongings.
This one's right under the window. And look how it's just bringing the dirt in with it, eh? We have a small one here, and that electrical panel. That's a safety hazard, that's for sure. If the floor is wet and you come down here and you're standing in it and you touch something that's not grounded properly, you become the ground and you will get hurt. Did you take the insulation out here?
No.
No.
This is the cold room, right?
Correct.
Yes.
You find it cold? This is your front door. You find it cold up here?
It's freezing.
Yeah, geez, isn't that a surprise? We have an exterior vent right here in the wall, and that's going to just bring in that nice cool air. That's why it's called the cold room. Bring it right across the floor here, in through here, and make this area real cold to the feet, I'm sure. Nobody said nothing about this?
No, I didn't even realize anything was wrong.
Just that it was cold upstairs?
Freezing in the morning.
Man, I can imagine.
Nobody's gonna say, hey, oh, we gotta fix this too. Oh, don't talk about that. If nobody says anything, it'll go away. That's what's happening. So they drilled the corner just to give a fill, and they used a type of epoxy, it looks like. But this is never gonna work. This is a temporary solution. You have to go to the source of the problem, which is on the outside.
About the second or third time they came in, I asked if it should be fixed from the outside, because just in talking to people, you know, acquaintances, people at work, they're all telling me it should be fixed from the outside. So the more I talked to people, the more I realized that we should insist.
I'm curious what they say when you ask them to do it from the outside.
They said it wasn't necessary.
All he cares about is selling the homes. He's not looking at whether or not they have a watertight basement. Just put up the membrane and sell it as a feature. Hey, all our homes are watertight. That would work for me.
We should put up an extra protection board, whether it's a polyethylene membrane, I don't care, any type of membrane or plastic, just an added protection, which would probably really help you here. But no matter what, if the weeping tile is backed up, it's going to cause a problem. Why don't we have weeping tile, you know, on the outside and the inside, which would help solve this problem? We're talking more money here, that's why. When I see it this high up, we know there's a major problem with the weeping tile. That means the water is more than likely blocked. So the water is building up across the wall, and it appears to be coming in the holes where they use the carriage pins for the forming. You see the holes that they fill afterwards?
Right.
Now, the builder, what are they telling you now?
We can't find them now.
You can't find them now.
No.
After the first 2 years, they stopped coming.
And then they finished the neighborhood, so they closed shop.
He knows if he waits 2 years, he's away, he's clean, he's gone.
And we called home warranty, and they told us that because the warranty had expired, there was nothing they could do. And we told them it was a pre-existing condition and that they tried to repair it. And in fact, it had gotten worse. The first spring was awful. You can see by the stains on the floor how deep the water got. But they said that their hands were tied. There was nothing they could do because the warranty had expired.
You've got to stay on top of it. Read it, follow it, right from day one. If you don't, after 2 years, you are on your own.
I'm a trusting person at heart, and I think that was a fault through this process, because obviously our neighbor had a leak. He got it done. I believed they were going to do the right thing, and I left it because I believed they'd come in and they'd fix it.
We're gonna put on this top-notch membrane. We're gonna charge you $500. Are you in? I'd do it. If I don't know about it, that's a different story. Most people don't.
We can't wait to finish the basement, and we're confident this is it. It's gonna get done now.
Well, we're going to bring in some tractors, a whole ton of people, and we are going to make this right for you.
Thank you very much, Mike.
You're welcome,
Thanks,
Jason.
Mike.
Hey, Michelle. I'm going to get to work.
There's a nice little toy. I like toys. It digs big holes. And look, it's full of rock, it's full of debris. Be a little mucky today, there's no doubt about it. We might get some rain this afternoon, which will be a pain in the rear. What I want to do is actually bring it right back to the last 2 rows and pile it right on the last 2 rows.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
We're gonna have to pull the bay around the window. This is cute.
It's gonna come out.
Because this should
That's
be
illegal.
This should be anchored to
That's
the wall.
illegal, yeah.
Well, we had one hell of a lot of rain yesterday, and this is a great sign that the water is not draining off the property. So I think we're gonna have one hell of a muck bath today. And that's gonna suck. I like that. That's a toy. Look at that, eh? Made to fit. To solve this one, we're gonna have to dig all 3 sides of the house, right down to the footings. That's about 8 feet deep, and that's one hell of a lot of digging. And these guys are the guys that can do it. Where the areas you can, he will try and build it back to keep it safe from coming back in. On short areas, he has to put in a barrier, which is going to protect them. We can see that there is no sock on the weeping tile at all. It allows the dirt to get in and allows blockage. I don't see a lot of 3/4 crushed gravel down here, and that's what I'd like to see. If there's a blockage in the weeping tile, what's going to happen is the water is no longer draining out to the front. It's going to start filling in this area, making the ground very wet. Here's where you see your carriage bolts. This is where they use the non-shrinkable grout. And the carriage bolts for the forming for the foundation wall will carry through. So once you take the forming off, they have holes in the wall. A lot of the leaking inside is coming through this area. All this weeping tile is coming out. All new weeping tiles going in with the sock coverage, and all new 3/4 crushed gravel. We got a ton more digging to do here. We'll clean off the rest of that tar and we'll get ready for the membrane. We're at day 3. What we're doing is turning this into one hell of a war zone, that's for sure. How you doing, Ed? We've really made a muck mountain around here, eh?
Yeah, we
Or
got
the
a
rain's helped you out, eh?
We got a bit of rain last night, so obviously makes a muddy mess.
What do we got here?
This is a big chunk of concrete. Looks like the tail end of a concrete truck. They had some left over, so they decided to dump it here.
What a wrong spot to dump it.
We've exposed the tip of it here, and it's a couple of inches away from the corner, so we probably could waterproof around it, but for what it's worth.
I have a jackhammer in the truck. Now this is going to be a trick because the air conditioner's on the ground and we've got to get down below it to leg it into the house.
We got to get a few guys to hold it and
We have some 2x4s, but I'm thinking if as long as we can pick it up, get vertical underneath it, and then dig down. We want to support this. Like, I never like it when they put an air conditioner in and they don't cradle on the wall. So we're just going to do a temporary brace support underneath it, and we'll hand dig an area, get the brackets in, get it self-supported. It should be standard, eh, Benj? You know, anytime you're installing an air conditioner, mount it. We used to disconnect the air conditioner, drain the gases, dig the hole, put it all back, revamp it again, add new gases. And now we don't have to touch it again, we don't have to disconnect it and add new gases, which just escape to the atmosphere anyways. Finally, excavation's done. We have the next team in here, and they're power washing off the walls to get that tar off so they can apply the new membrane. This is the hydraulic cement that's supposed to carry right through the carriage bolt holes, so we're just going to do a little inspection here. Let's see how they filled this. And this is not the way to do it. Look at this. Now we know why it's leaking like crazy in here. This is not hydraulic cement right through. All they've done is put in backer rod. It's like a little bit of foam. So there we have a 5/8 hole right through. No wonder it's leaking. Well, as far as I'm concerned, they shouldn't, you know, it should be completely filled. Either use non-shrinkable grout or hydraulic injected. We'll get a piece of rubber wall patch, go over top of it, then they'll spray over top of that. But now that'll have to wait until Monday, but this is good until then. Well, we have 50 millimeters of rain coming Saturday and Sunday, and I don't want this going down there. We're gonna get two 30 by 30 tarps, I'm gonna drape it over the hill, bring it right down into the hole, right across this yard. I don't wanna dig this out by hand. Oh boy, we've had a cave in at this point. We do a quick support, shovel out what fell in there, pain in the ass. Here is a fabric that goes on the outside, and what this does, it grabs the water from the very top and wicks it right down to the bottom and drives it to the weeping. That is brilliant. Now it's time to put down a 3/4 crush gravel. Normally it's 6 inches down there, but I like to put about 24 inches down. It acts as a drainage bed, and it gets the water down to the weeping tile. These guys even lay down a fabric on top of the 3/4 crush that helps keep any dirt whatsoever from going down to the weeping tile. Now I think that's a pretty smart idea.
We're backfilling around the gas line, and with the backhoe, they'll drop quite a big chunk in here, so we don't want to effectively rip this down. So I'm just cradling the gas line by putting soil underneath and then just packing it so there's no damage.
The builder didn't do any of this. He just used patch job after patch job, and 2 years later, after the warranty runs out, he's gone. When a well is put around this area filled with 3/4 crush, this will be cut down. This is just a cap. So this is going to allow the water to come into the weeping tile and drain right directly out rather than filling the bay, which we saw in the back earlier. Also, you can pull the cap and flush the weeping tile if ever there's a blockage. It's a great idea. Well, now we're just going to backfill this and clean it up, and we're done. Let's get some rakes here, and we'll rake out this dirt, and we'll get the fence sections back in place. I have my guys come in and clean it up because there's no sense in having the sawdust on the floor anymore. One thing we did do that the other guys, just for some reason, didn't care to do was we sealed back up all the joints here. We tuck taped it, and as you can tell, we did a lot of tuck taping around here. I cut a couple of holes in the plastic where the insulation was still damp, so let that air out and then get some tuck tape, or I'll give you some tuck tape later. You can just tape up that plastic again, okay?
Like, do I have to worry anything about that? Like, is that...
I would not worry about this anymore. Unfortunately, it has stained the wall, but it's not going to leak again, that's for sure.
No more sawdust.
No more sawdust.
No more sawdust. The door over here, for the first time in 5 years, I think you might have a fairly warm floor upstairs. I can't believe all the people that have come in here have missed this. We added some Roxo Plus in here. This is green. For me, it's an easier product to work with. I like it a lot. It's easy to cut, not as itchy as the pink, even though the pink works just as well. Same R factor. So we've put up 6mm plastic, brought it across, tuck taped it down, so you're gonna be nice and warm upstairs at the front door.
This is what it should have looked like.
And it's funny, nobody caught it.
No.
But let's go take a look outside. A little cold out here today. You notice we put your air conditioner up on 2 brackets.
Thank you very much.
Thank
yes.
you.
That's just the way it should be. You know, I don't know why they don't do that. It's only, what, 70 bucks for the brackets? Now, this isn't the prettiest, but this will settle down, okay? And obviously, you know, your neighbors, you're going to be a little jealous of their backyards. But now you can go downstairs and
Enjoy the basement.
work on the basement.
Yeah, it finally feels like the house we bought.
5 years of worrying, 5 years of headaches, 5 years of going down with sawdust, trying to clean up the puddles. Well, the reason why your basement was leaking was the carriage bolt holes for the forming boards, they filled them improperly. It should have been cork in the center or hydraulic cement right through or non-shrinkable grout, and they just parged over it. So they used a backer rod instead of everything else and did a quick little parge. That's never gonna keep the water out. What it's going to do, as soon as the water gets down there, it gets in through the parge and right in through the hole. No wonder you had a river running through here. So after that, they put up the rubber wall, 4 coats of it across. We put up a dimpled plastic product with a fiber on one side, and this fiber actually acts as a wick. It grabs the water rather than letting it sit here. It grabs it right from the top and wicks it right down to the weeping tile and drains it. It's the way every home should be. Can you imagine that? 5 years? 5 years waiting for the builder to come back and fix this. From day one they moved in, 5 years. Something is wrong with that.
Just to have it all done is just incredible.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the rain for a change.
Yeah.
It's actually not going to come into the basement.
Let it rain.
Now, not everybody here has got a wet basement, but unfortunately, too many do. So how do we change that? Let's put it back in the code to have a membrane wrapped around the house.
Really nice meeting you,
Thank you
Mike.
very
And
much,
again,
Mike.
Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you.
Don't be afraid to call for advice. On anything you do, just call. That's what we're here for. This has to be mandatory. This has to be code. It's the only way I see to make it right.
Good game, Mike.
Good game,
Right on,
guys.
Mike. Good game. Okay, Ben. Here we go.
There we go. We're just going to do a little inspection here. Now we know why it's leaking like crazy in here. Oh boy, this is real luck because that was heavy, heavy rain. So guys, we're gonna get our pay today to start shoveling. The tarp that we put over really did protect us, but we still had an undermining underneath it. It came down to the hole. Unfortunately, we had to hand dig this. And this is clay. This is heavy stuff. This is going to continue to fall, so we've got to take all the loose stuff down. This is the second cave-in. You can see how it's split right here. We're 8 feet down here. This is a little deeper than usual. So this whole area now wants to fall forward. So we really have to do a quick support, shovel out what fell in there. This is a pain in the ass.
Got it? Yep. Make sure it doesn't get wet. Too late.
So now we're going to just spray the rubber wall directly over this.
Yes,
Then we have the protection coating.
yes. We have a 2 defense system. The first is the rubber wall, the second one is the geowrap.
The geo-wrap, but that acts as a wick and allows the water to drain down.
Exactly, to drain fast down to the weeping tile.
I think that's just brilliant. I guess the developers think it's just too much money at this point, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
But if they did that, don't they look good? Don't they, at the end of it, everybody says, hey, I got a property that doesn't leak anywhere.
Absolutely right, but the developer selling their houses, they're selling the kitchen countertops, the baths, the kitchen.
So let's worry about the inside and not the outside.
The outside, you know, because by the time the people start finishing the basement, the warranty is already expired, you know. I really feel sorry about the homeowner for in this subdivision, and probably every single house has some sort of a water problem, you know.
And that shouldn't be that way. This should be just a standard that your whole outside of your house is watertight, and then start worrying about the inside. Vlad, why don't they do this to all the houses?
Just they're trying to save some money.
But now that this is up, we can just put up the protection board without a problem at all. Get the weeping tile in, start backfilling. I noticed you put down a plastic on the bottom of the footing there. Is that up underneath this
Yes,
roll here?
absolutely. That's what you call cross-laminated plastic or cross-laminated flashing that we put on the footing and on the wall to secure that joint.
So this is the geo-wrap you've been talking about. Now this is the same as a plantain. It's a plastic product with the fiber bonded to it, and I like that because it wicks the water right down to the weeping tile. Well, as soon as this is up, they're going to drive a couple of tacks across the top, and then we can get going on the weeping tile and start backfilling just like that. We have the stone slinger here, just for the 3/4 crush for the weeping tile. So we're gonna put it on top of the tarp. Bit of a pain. I wish we could get it in there and sling it in, but we can't, so I'll have to do it by hand. Well, the weeping tile does go around the whole house, but it isn't necessary that it goes to the garage side because that's unexcavated. There is no basement under the garage. So at this point, we bring the weeping tile all the way around the house and tie it right in to underneath the garage where it meets the main drain and out to the street. Well, we have to flush out the existing weeping tile that leads out to the street in case we have any dirt or debris inside it. Then we're going to attach in this new weeping tile to it and pull the sleeve over top. It's like a sock and it keeps the dirt out. Okay, Benji, while they're finishing this, let's go downstairs and we'll tackle that cold room. Let's just leave this forming up. This is not a major issue. They should have taken it down, but you see the 1x6? The room's got all kinds of broken concrete up there.
Yeah, it'll all come coming down.
Well, normally, I mean, I would just I'd put this up the way they have it, even though they don't really have any structural supports from the bottom. They poured one hell of a lot of concrete up there. That's a lot of weight. But it did hold it, and it did let it dry. And then we come in, we take this down. That's the idea, is it's just all concrete room. It's a cold room. But now, if I pull this down, I'll want to clean that up, and that could actually disturb the concrete up there and, you know, cause a leak. So I'm not going to disturb it. I'm going to leave it. It's up fine. This is not a major issue. What is insulating this. So we're going to leave this. Let's make sure we get the voids up here. Thanks, buddy.
All right.
I'm going to go back outside.
Okay.
Well, now we're just going to backfill this and clean it up, and we're done.